Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you all had a lovely lunch. I certainly did. So I want to again reiterate our thanks this morning for all those who presented from South Africa. And now we're going to move on to hear presentations and pictures from our participants from Kenya. As ever, the rules are the same, so I'll just do a quick reminder. So it's 3 minutes for those who are doing their pitches, and then the judges will be followed on with 4 minutes of questions. You can have a back and forth, so that's the whole point. We want it to be interactive in that section. If you, as the participants, could keep your eyes on our timekeeper who's going to be sort of waving the time there, that will help you sort of synthesize your explanations of your innovations. So without further ado, we're going to start with Arhendt. Have I said it correctly? Great, excellent. So, and then Beth, if you could kindly make your way to our crew to the side to get mic'd up. You'll be after Arhendt. So your time will start once you begin speaking. We'll crack on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Kindly allow me to introduce you to two beautiful ladies in their mid-30s by the names Olivia and Mary. Olivia and Mary are ladies in their mid-30s and living in different setups, but they share passion. They both share similar passion. They are young, but they have the desire to look young and remain young through their skin complexion. And on the other side, we have farmers back in our community who are rearing camel and rearing goats, and they are selling their milk products to other communities around them. But unfortunately for them is that they have inadequate market for their product. So what is the issue about these three scenarios? The three scenarios is that we, including me, Arhendt Mutsanzi from Kenya, have come up with an anti-aging product in the name of Petals brand that goes with the name Petals. And there are 5 brands in total. And we have innovated this formulation whereby this product has been proven to be anti-aging because it retards the rate at which the skin ages. And we are using 100% organic materials. That includes, of course, the seed oils that we're extracting from the seeds in the community, and also the camel milk, as I was telling you, and the goat milk. Now, we have formulated this product, we have researched on this product for quite a long time, and we have discovered that finally this product is able to meet the demand of both Mary and Olivia, and also help the community that is also producing the milk, and the milk both from camel and goat. We have been able to put it in the market in about 5 years ago, and we are targeting a population of about 12 million ladies in Kenya at the moment, because we are still in Kenya. And therefore, we have been able to patent the product. And this is what we have done so far since the time we incepted it in 2015. And we have been able to achieve a revenue of about $75,000. And we are looking forward in the next three years to achieve a 2 million target. These are the team that has been helping me, very dedicated young people. And we are standing here trying to look for, we are here to look for strategic partners who can help us license the product and also distribute and create networks in sales. Otherwise, thank you very much.
Slightly surprised you're going to license your project. Is that because you expect it to need to be in every community, or why?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Your model is going to be licensing your technology.
Yes.
Is what you say. But I'm just surprised that it's not a product technology, collecting the milk and building a big factory.
Okay, our main areas, we've said, okay, for the last 5 years, we have developed 5 brands. And our strengths has been actually developing new products that are innovative. to suit the market demand. And therefore, what we are looking for, because we have done some sales and some quite considerable and encouraging sales, but we're looking for partners who are willing come up on the other side. On the other side, I mean come and commercialize the product so that we can partner together and increase the sales across the country and even beyond the country's boundaries.
Okay.
Thank you.
I have a few questions, but I'll just go with one first. What's your shelf life of your product?
Shelf life is 3 years.
Okay.
Yes.
I won't look.
So that end part of revenue, 2 million from 75K, it's quite steeper than how the image shows it. It's quite a big jump. So how do you intend to achieve that?
Yeah, if I take you to the last, as I said, that we are looking for partners across who are going to work together with us. And from my experience of what you have done for the last 3 years, the product has been tremendously received very kindly and very generously in the market in Kenya, and people are really looking forward to that product. So with that projection, and with a partner who is also very convincing and who is able and ready, I believe we shall even achieve even greater heights.
So what are you bringing to the table? If you had a partner now in front of you, what are you contributing to that 2 million revenue? Because they will be producing and they'll be selling.
Yes. Of course, we have already established some clients based already in Kenya who have been using this product for the last 3 years, and they're expanding. So ours is to continue expanding in a base back in Kenya, and also now expecting that if you have the resources, we are able now even to channel the new products even across the country and beyond the world.
So if you had a partner in front of you,
yes,
and would you charge the partner a royalty fee, or would you go into some 50-50 joint venture, or give them 80% of the sales value? What's your idea there?
Our idea is to negotiate. We are willing to listen to the partner's idea, but for us is maybe go for a 50-50 share, depending also on what he brings on the table.
Okay, so
yes,
using your example,
yes,
your figures, 50-50. Now, in order for you to get a revenue of 2 million, the partner would then have to make profits of 4 million.
Okay.
Because you're going to get 2 million of the profits, 50%, therefore they're going to keep the other 2 million.
Yeah.
In order to make profits of 4 million, the sales need to be more than 4 million.
Exactly, and that's why if you remember, I told you that in fact, this market is just a small niche in the country. Within the 3 years,
no, I understand that.
Now, when this partner comes in, the reception alone of this product has been tremendous, and this has just been a small part of this country, rather than in Kenya.
So in order to make 4 million of profits between the two of you,
yes,
how many units will you have to sell?
We have to do that double, because the 75,000 revenue that we collected was about 50,000 sales. So now that means we are thinking of quadrupling in the next 3 years.
So sorry, the revenue of 75,000 is 150,000 of sales?
Yes.
Okay, so
sorry,
you make
judges, time is up.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. And next up is Beth. Is Beth here? Excellent. And then followed by Brian. So if Brian could make his way to our crew to get mic'd up. So Beth, you'll have 3 minutes, and then the judges 4 minutes, and then we'll start the clock once you begin.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Beth Koigi, the CEO and co-founder of Magic Water. Did you know that there is 6 times more water in the atmosphere than there is in all rivers around the world? And yet, 24 million Kenyans are water stressed. And in fact, the UN estimates that by 2025, 1.8 billion people will be living in water-stressed regions. At Magic, we specialize in air-to-water technology. This technology mostly uses the condensation model, which is we offer a turnkey solution, meaning it's not just an installation, we have the pre-installation services and after-installation services. At the moment, we have 3 paying clients, that is corporates, such as AB InBev. We have Microsoft, who in turn pay a premium, which enable us to do our impact side, that is do installation in Kenya, in low-income households or communities. So this is a project in Cape Town for a data center, which in turn funded a children's home installation in Kenya, and also an installation in a girls' school in Mandera, which is very arid or semi-arid. We are a very diverse team that comprises of Anastasia, who is my co-founder. She has a background in technology, that is dew harvesting and air-to-water technology in general. Claire, who is a business strategist from Oxford. So she has a lot of background in business, and myself, who is mostly in the market and the region. We have had a few awards, including MIT Water Innovation Award. We have been covered by media such as the BBC. Currently, we have done installation in 3 major countries. That is in South Africa, Cape Town, with Microsoft, in Johannesburg with AB InBev, and in India, still with Microsoft, and in Kenya with mostly local NGOs. But looking at our sales last year, our sales was around 125,000 USD, and we intend to increase that or double that this year, and that's why we are asking for 165,000 USD, and this is to increase our capacity as a company. That is in terms of our production, because at the moment we only install the machine on order or start producing the machine on order. At Magic Water, we want to create a world where if you have air, you can have clean drinking water. Thank you.
I'm going to say the most obvious thing you say. Why would you not have Microsoft give you that money? It's pretty much lunch for a bunch of people at a meeting.
Give us...
give it to you. You're already working with them. You've already proven your product, right? Because you are working with them. They trust you already. Mm-hmm. Why would you not just pitch them and say, give us the money and we can make this a lot bigger, faster?
So with Microsoft, it was mostly client-supplier kind of relationship, which we have extended to India. So we are still in very early conversation. They're still to seeing how these will make them more sustainable. So we hadn't had such kind of conversations in terms of giving funds yet. But yeah, it's a good idea.
Should be your first.
Yes.
So how much water can you actually get out of air, and in what time?
So we have different devices. So we have the 25 liters per day devices. But when I say 25, we range it from 25 degrees Celsius, because this technology is affected by temperature and humidity. And 60% relative humidity, we get 25 liters of water per day. And then we can go all the way. We have devices like Microsoft. We installed 1,000 liters per day on the same temperature and humidity.
And if you were to compare the cost of producing the water compared to the cost of mineral water in a bottle, how does it compare?
It's actually more expensive than mineral water, and that's why we don't target the users directly. So mostly this technology is mostly used where there is no other available water source, mostly.
And what is the cost of a 1,000-liter machine? How much does it cost?
30,000 USD.
10,000 USD to buy?
30.
As
selling to you.
Okay, and what does it cost you to make?
As making, it's 20,000 USD, but also we have included the cost of maintenance. We maintain for like a year, depending on the client and what they want.
Okay, but the raw cost of making it is about 20?
Yes.
I would suggest that you need to pay a lot of attention to getting 20 down to 2.
Yes, and that is the reason why, because right now we only produce when ordered, so we don't have economies of scale.
Yeah.
We only do one at a time when ordered, so that is something we want to do in the near future.
I guess my question's a follow now. I also have to admit, I heard you pitch at the Palace Africa.
Yes.
Was it last year, year before? So I'm very pleased to see the progress you've made since then, so that's very good.
Okay.
But I think, I mean, with Henning and the others, I think you really need to re-examine the business model,
Yeah.
depending on what you expect those costs to be.
Yes.
And I wonder if you now have proof that you can get air out of water out of the air in the desert,
Yes.
from what you say.
Yes. Yes.
So you need as wide a business model study. So if you set up one solar cell device, could it create an oasis in a true desert? Is that something you've studied?
We have started by the most immediate business model we can. That is, who do we sell to reach these communities living in Arhendt? So we are trying now to see other business model, like NGOs that are interested in, planting trees in these regions. That will increase, of course, over a long time, will increase the rainfall. So we are now trying to explore the other creative business model that we can apply.
So I think that's what you should have asked for, help to do those studies.
Okay, judges, time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And now is Brian, followed by James. If James could make his way to our crew to get mic'd up. As ever, we'll begin the time when you begin speaking.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Mwenda from Hope Tech. This is Lilian. I met Lilian 4 years ago when we were doing user studies for a product, and she explained to me how she spent 8 years of her life being bound indoors because she didn't have any access of a way to go out after she lost her sight. The main tool available to Lilian for mobility is a white cane, which is a very crude tool and doesn't solve her mobility needs. She still needs someone to walk with her every single time she leaves the house. And this is usually not available to her and so many visually impaired people. So we started working on a product because we believe that visually impaired people in this century shouldn't have to use sticks to get around. We've developed a small handheld device that uses sensors to detect obstacles so that it's very simple for a visually impaired person to walk. All they have to do is point it in the direction they're going. If there's an obstacle in front of them, it will vibrate to warn them. So there are different vibrations for different obstacles. And depending on the kind of vibration, the person will know where the obstacle is exactly, and it will be very easy for them to navigate around that. So we launched an MVP in Kenya in August of last year, 2019. And in less than 6 months, we already have over 1,000 users using this product. So the initial version can be attached to the cane, or you can use it without the cane. And it's having tremendous impact in the lives of the 1,000+ users. So every single month, we are adding between 300 and 500 new users to our client list. The market size in Africa is 36 million visually impaired people. In Kenya, we have 960,000 people, and our sales projections show that by January of 2021, we'd have reached a minimum of 6,000 people. That's if we continue operating on a zero marketing budget, as we are now, but our targets are higher. 6,000 people means a revenue of $500,000. So in the last 6 months, we've had revenue of $100,000 from just less than 1,000 people. So we've gotten together with some global partners to build a product for the world. We realize visual impairment is not only a problem in Africa, so we are trying to create a product that can be used in any market across the world. So I started this journey 4 years ago, and right now we are building a product that will replace canes for any blind person anywhere in the world. So this will become the first device in the world to replace canes. And my ask here today is connections to any organizations that can help us access these international users, and we involve them in the product development stage. Over the next 13 months, we'll be working with the amazing list of partners to bring this product to the market. The next 10 years will be very exciting, and as we can see in the field of the disability, many people are paying attention. So will you join us on this journey? Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for the presentation. Can I ask how much does it cost, the device, and have you protected any part of it, or at least the designs, or the way how it works? What does it prevent anyone else in getting into this market once they start to figure out that it's interesting?
Okay, so the product that we have in the market goes for $80. That is including the cane. And currently, you find the cane itself goes for between $20 and $50, just the stick. So it's a very cost-efficient device comparing to what is available in the market. And our main strength is trying to protect, having trade secrets in how we develop the ground sensing system, so that we can protect the IP at the end, because we realize we have to protect it internationally. It will become very expensive, especially if we have to do it at every single stage.
What's the manufacturing cost of the device? You're selling it for 80. What do you?
So right now we're manufacturing it at $40, but then we're manufacturing in Asia, so adding import taxes and all that, we get to about 55.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you're programming the items, how are you doing that? Oh, if that's not patent protected. So when somebody is, say, maybe there's a pavement and there's a curb, you said that it vibrates or makes a sound in a different way.
Yeah.
How many of those sounds, devices, how many items do you have programmed in here?
So the idea will be to make it as easy to learn as possible. So we have the device vibrating on different parts. So when you feel a vibration on a certain part of the hand, you know this is an obstacle in front of me, and another part of the hand, you know something maybe that will hit my head. So, and then we can program like 2 variations on the different parts. So it's like 6 different messages. Yeah.
Okay, and then how small does that detect something?
So it can detect something up to like 2 inches, because you realize like a very small raise on the ground can trip a visually impaired person. So it's very sensitive.
I noticed that Safaricom was one of your partners.
Yeah.
Have you considered making that tech part of a mobile phone? Because a lot of the mobile phone is of no importance to someone who can't see. So could that silicon circuitry not do that and have only one device?
So the partnership we have with Safaricom is on our IoT part. So the device has location tracking, so they help us to do that. So on a later stage, we'd maybe develop a mobile application to help navigation for the visually impaired people, because obstacle detection is one part, and then navigation is another part in
Well, I guess that's my question. Is there enough capacity on a mobile phone circuit to carry your circuitry?
Not really. We'd have to develop them as different. There has to be an actual device.
I noticed on your slide you didn't have Moorfields Eye Hospital as one of your partnerships or contracts. Is that a possibility? Are you speaking to them? Because that's one of the biggest eye care hospitals in the world. So
Yeah, so right
you
now
don't
we
have anybody in there?
So that was part of my ask. So if
Okay.
you have any contacts, we'd really appreciate
Okay,
it.
we'll talk afterwards.
Thanks.
I think it's brilliant.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Brian. Up next is James. And then following him will be Kelvin. So if Kelvin could kindly make his way up to our crew. So James will have 3 minutes, and then our judges will have 4 minutes. And we'll start the clock when you're ready.
I find it very difficult to take that, despite the fact that e-commerce platforms such as Amazon and eBay help sellers across the world to connect with their customers, small-scale manufacturers back at home are not able to leverage on the same. But why is this the case, you'd ask? Well, the answer is actually very simple, but it took my co-founder and I more than 2 years to find it out. These businesses are unique, and they're unique in the sense that their products are bespoke, and their prices are negotiable, and also the sellers are a bit not tech savvy. So the lack of a market, coupled with the use of old, not so good tools and equipment makes these local manufacturers make very little profit, and most of them actually live in poverty. So what's our solution for this? Juakali Smart is an online marketplace for locally made, affordable, and customizable wood and metal products. We take verification of the sellers very seriously, and these are reputation-based platform, basically. We also provide them with access to modern tools and equipment with financing options. So for the sellers, we're giving them a wider customer audience at an affordable price. And for the buyers, we're giving them a wide variety of products to choose from at competitive prices. So according to the Kenya National Bureau of Standards, there's about 50,000 businesses making wood and metal products with an annual average turnover of around 6,000 US dollars. These are 0.3 billion US dollar market in Kenya alone. So since we launched the business in mid last year, we've registered more than 100 businesses, and they've added close to 500 products onto the platform, and we've actually connected them with more than 400 customers. This is the amazing team that I've had the pleasure to really fail with very hard, but we've also learned a lot through the process and won some awards and recognitions along the way. So today, I'm looking for connections to tool and equipment manufacturers company here in the UK, and who are looking to sell their products in not only in Kenya, but also in the African market. If you have connections to any of these individuals, we'd really appreciate that, so that we can help these artisans build higher quality products, so they can increase their profit margins and have increased opportunities. Thank you very much.
Can I start with asking, how do you build the demand side of the platform? So how do you make sure that people go there and buy stuff and negotiate?
Okay, so we are leveraging on social media mostly, particularly Facebook. So most of the sellers initially have been using Facebook, but the problem with that is that there's a lot of fraud, cases of fraud. So, and this has destroyed the confidence of the buyers on social media. So we are sort of bringing the traffic from Facebook to our platform where the sellers are verified. Yeah.
And how does your company make money out of the platform? How do you get paid?
Okay, yeah. So we have a freemium model for the artisans. So they upload their products onto the platform for free, and we promote 5 of their products onto the marketplace for free. But for them to have more than 5 products on the marketplace, they have to pay a fee to actually promote those products, as little as $1 US to promote 5 products for 1 week, and we have options for weekly promotions, monthly promotions, and annual promotions too. Yep.
Do you manage the money side of the transaction as well? Does the customer pay you through your site, and then you pay the artisan?
Okay, so we've tried that. As I've told you, it has taken us 2 years to learn that what the problem really is. You see, the challenge is that these products are the prices are negotiable and all those kinds of things. So at the moment, we don't process the transaction. We just connect them with each other. But we're also seeing some opportunity along the way, because there's a lot of mistrust between the two groups. So we're thinking of introducing a sort of I'd call it I'm forgetting the word, but it's where the buyer gives us the money and we hold it until the other guy, escrow. Yeah, that's the word. Yeah.
How do you go about the verification process?
Yeah, that's actually interesting. We have to visit each workshop individually to verify that they actually exist before we allow them to post the products on our marketplace.
So looking at your costed model, how much is that going to cost you? Because that seems very expensive.
Yeah, it's an expensive venture, but we are looking at other ways that we can sort of take advantage of the fact that we have to go and visit each and every workshop. So the tools and equipment, that's where we are talking about sort of introducing tools and equipment to the market. So we'll be able to sort of monitor how those tools and equipments are being used and have financing options for the artisans and those kind of things. So we'll find a way to sort of look at that, balance that cost and yeah.
Great, thank you, judges. Thank you so much, James.
Thank you.
So next up is Kelvin, followed by Lilian. So if Lilian could kindly go and get mic'd up. Kelvin, we'll start when you're ready, and judges, you'll have 4 minutes as usual.
My name is Kelvin. I'm the founder of Kitabu. My mother is a shopkeeper, and each and every single day, she keeps providing goods on credit to some of our customers. The only thing that my mother has is a book, which she records each and every of those transactions, with the inability to know when the customers will pay back or if they're going to fail to pay back. This represents a case of 1 million shopkeepers in Kenya who rely on manual ledgers to record each of their transactions. At one point in time, it is estimated that the total debt at this shop is 90 million pounds. And with bad debts running at 45%, it creates a loss of 40 million pounds on a monthly basis. How can we solve this? We've created Kitabu, which is a mobile application that replaces and enhances the manual ledgers that shopkeepers use today. And the data that we collect, we analyze it to give shopkeepers, borrowers credit risk so that they can be able to know when they'll pay back or if they're going to fail to pay back. With our solution, shopkeepers are going to reduce their debts from 45% up to 12% loss. They also have a chance to grow their businesses by lending to more people with much confidence. By integrating our mobile application with M-Pesa, we aim to make our product accessible to over 17 million users, both on smartphone and USSD-enabled basic phones. Our business model, we charge shopkeepers a commission based on each debt paid back. And currently, we founded our company in September, and we've been developing our MVP, which is ready to test for the first 100 customers. And being part of this program, we've been able to develop our business model and set out a commercialization plan for the next 6 months. My team is made up of me, Kelvin. I'm studying actuarial science with expertise in credit and risk analysis. And my partner, Arhendt, is a software programmer who is working on the product. And I'm here to ask for connection to local developers, contacts with credit rating agencies, and contact with investors. Join me to helping my mother be more inclusive to financial products, which is SDG number 8. Thank you.
So if a customer comes to your mother and she's using this app, and the customer has been at 5 other shops beforehand, all using this app, and has bad debts with all other 5, would your mother know?
Yeah. So to each and every shopkeeper who is using our mobile application, each data is integrated and it gives a granular information of each borrower. But if the shopkeeper is If the shopkeeper is not using our mobile application, what we analyze data based on other sources. Then at the consent of the borrower, the shopkeeper can have it on his mobile application before he gives out the credit or the product based on now other sources. But what we've created is that during the test program, we have developed like a predicting model. It will be able to learn the lending behaviors. Then now it will be able to give like each customers based on how they've been borrowing and paying back or delaying to pay. Then we combine it with now data that we've sourced from other sources to make our predicting models very strong, so that if that one misses, the shopkeeper can still have a clue about the nature of the customer who has come to borrow.
And how many customers would you need to make a profit of, say, 1 million?
So you see, like, we're saving 45% up to 12%. So we may need around, on an average, we may need to get to, let's say, because you have 100,000 shopkeepers in the city, if we're able to just get 10,000 shopkeepers, because on a monthly basis, those who even sell up to $1,000 US on credit, and that one can give us a good margin if we charge a commission based on an outcome-based model between what we've saved from 45% which they are losing, or which is being defaulted or delayed in payments. Yeah.
I think in your presentation, I think what I would like to see is that analysis out. So if you said, I have 1,000 customers, 10,000 customers, 100,000 customers, what money your company would then make, how much you would save per client, that sort of thing. That would be very helpful to see those sort of scenarios.
Yeah.
And then overlaid on top of that, your own operating costs.
I guess my thought, based on what you said, is that your business model, I mean, do current shopkeepers essentially also act as the bank, that they're effectively lending to their customers? Is that how your model's built?
Come up, please.
So your bad debt is effectively lending by the shopkeeper to the customer.
To the customer, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the way it used to be here a long time ago, but it's not the lack of knowledge that tends to run into trouble with shopkeepers. It tends to be a soft heart.
Yeah.
So my wonder is, so the business model may change if a bank or someone external third party is lending the money. Is that something you've considered, with when you're looking for the credit institutions or a bank to be involved?
Yeah, we've considered that for our next phase, whereby we shall also be giving other institutions to launch their credit line through our pipeline. Then they will now be able to have an overview of each shopkeeper's individual risk in a particular area, so that when they go to borrow from financial institutions, they already have an analysis of the risk that is inherent in that situation.
Great, thank you so much. Next up is Lilian.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you'll have 3 minutes. Judges, you'll have 4 minutes. Just a reminder to the judges to speak into the mic so that our live stream audience can continue to hear you. And we'll start when you're ready.
Good afternoon. If I give you this for lunch, will you take it? Probably not. I'm Lilian Songok, and I'm here to present for you a gluten-free product. Okay, in Kenya, globally, this issue of hunger and malnutrition. And there's 4.5 tons of waste products that are majorly produced. And this, in case, makes 75%, which are lost before it reaches the consumer. And mostly, 50% comes out of fruits as well as vegetables. Now, imagine in a case whereby we have somebody who has limited food choices. Well, that is a case in intolerant individual. Our product majorly is made from 3 key ingredients, that is pumpkin seeds, green banana peels, and avocado seed. This product is from bean to seed, and it has impacted the market of gluten-free products in 4 SDG areas, that is poverty, hunger, health, and wellness, as well as climate. Now, this product is majorly gluten-free. It addresses issues of malnutrition. It has both macro and macronutrients, as well as bioactive compounds which our bodies need. The processing technologies include mainly sorting, cleaning, cutting, slicing, drying, as well as milling. Now, we've made the prototype, tested it in the lab. It's fully functional, and now we want to manufacture on large scale to come to the market. Our ambition is to develop a manufacturing process, marketing and distribution, and we would ask for $40,000, and we need marketing partners in the next 6 months. Health Kenya, Clean Kenya, welcome on board.
Is your idea just to sell the flour, or were you thinking of selling other type of products as well?
We are making the flour, the gluten-free flour, at the same time producing products out of it, which are gluten-free.
Okay, so you also want to produce the products as well?
Yeah, we produce the product.
And how does the cost of your product compare to other gluten-free options?
Okay, the key ingredients are locally available. So our products is mainly cheaper and affordable to the consumers that are in the market.
I'm going to push you a little bit on that one, because even though you said it's cheaper to people in your local area compared to other products that are being offered, you're saying it's cheaper. I'm just wondering how much cheaper, whether or not it's viable at that price for you to continue, and the competitors that you have, are you focusing on their complete product? So you say bread, so is it bread or is it about the flour that you're competing with them?
Okay, I'm competing both in the market of flour at the same time the products. Now the product has key health benefits that surpasses the wheat flour that is there in the market, but it is slightly higher than the wheat flour and bread.
I'd like to take my question the other way. Does it taste better than other gluten-free?
Well, it depends on individual consumers, but we did what we call consumer evaluation in the market, and there were some questions we were asking, and they preferred the gluten-free option than the wheat bread. So that is why it has motivated us to produce the bread.
Well, I guess, my wife is extremely gluten intolerant, and nobody wants to eat what she has to eat.
Well,
so if you have one which is very tasty.
Yeah, it's tasty. They give some comments about the bread and areas to improve on, and that is why we improved on it and again took to the market. They gave us very good responses.
Well, that would be my suggestion for extra marketing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Lilian. And Catherine? I'm a bit biased, but that's a good name. So Catherine, we'll start when you're ready. Judges, I'll give you a moment to finish your notes, and then you'll also have 4 minutes for your questions.
Good afternoon. I want to talk to you about the people we left behind and forgot about them. I grew up in a remote village in Kenya. And when I was growing up in 1977, this is what I used as a sanitary pad. In Kenya, as we talk here today, this minute, there is somebody using cow dung as a sanitary pad. And all this gives 65% of women and girls who cannot afford the sanitary pads. And of the 35% who can afford sanitary pads, disposal of the same is non-existent in Africa, with most of them ending up in open dump sites and into our oceans. And we know a woman menstruating uses up to 20 sanitary pads on average. And each sanitary pad will take up to 800 years to decompose. Just imagine what you are doing to the environment in Kenya. And in Africa, as population growing, already with about 1.3 billion. Yes, I just give an example of one of our products. The market, total available market, is over 100 US billion. We have solution for the problems I've talked about, in that our sanitary pad is 65% biodegradable. We have vending machines for access and accountability, especially with NGOs when they donate their sanitary pads. And we have disrupted the market with our incinerator, which is small. It is able to even incinerate sanitary pads to only 1 gram of sterile ash, and that ash is useful, it's used as a fertilizer. We have won several awards. We have customers already who are paying, despite us having started in 2018. Yes, our team is huge in terms of experience, over 100 years experience between them. We cover 12 of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. In Kenya, there's a focus on 4 pillars, and we are in 3 of them. We are asking for impact investors to come and join us in this journey. We'd also want to ask for $150,000 to be able to get production to bring that price of sanitary pad further down for those who cannot afford still. And we are looking for partners, especially in universities, who have done research on how we can bring down that price on menstrual hygiene. We are inviting you to come and join us as we rid Kenya of such. We rid Africa of such. Keep girls in school, give women dignity as we take care of the environment. Thank you.
What fuels your incinerator?
Electricity.
And is that
right
cost?
Now it's electricity, but we are working to see whether it can use, because we have different sizes. We have smaller ones, which are used in homes. We have bigger ones, which are industrial, even which are being used by factories.
And is your model to have one of these in each house, or somewhere like in the supermarket or side or something?
For the incinerators in particular, we are incinerating on site, such that, because most of the time, those sanitary pads are collected, and usually you can't be sure where they are taken, okay, especially in most of the developing countries. They end up in the same dump sites. But now we are making sure that they incinerate because they are hazardous on site.
And so is the model that the price of that is included in the sanitary pad when you buy it?
What you're doing, because what made me go back into this, I've been in business doing other things in the past, and I went into this when I was left with an empty nest, and I remembered when I was growing up, I woke up in class one day, and everyone behind me laughed. So I just wanted to do something about it. And out of it, we've come up with this. So my passion is just, we are making enough money with the incinerator because we have first mover advantage. We have patents for our machines, both the dispensers and the incinerators. And we've gotten partners who are interested in working with us, including Safaricom, who want to put in their payment model into our machines, so that schools, because those are the ones who are, rural schools are the ones who have the biggest problem. And I can say we've already broken even, having only sold in 2019, because 2018, we only did piloting and it worked. We have referrals, yes.
What's the unit cost of each pad?
right now we are selling at 5 shilling, Kenya shillings. It's like a 0.5 of a dollar. 0.5 of a dollar.
So-
And we want to bring that price further down because still my girl in the village cannot afford that. We want to use local raw materials. That's why we're asking for partnerships with the universities so that at least we can bring it down to 2 shillings. And maybe when we get our 100% biodegradable, we can sell that product in Europe at a premium and take care of the girl in the village.
Are those wrapped in plastic?
Pardon?
Plastic?
Mine are cotton right now. They are 65% biodegradable. The back sheet is still plastic. We are working on that.
There's a guy looking at dissolvable plastic in the previous session.
Yeah.
You need to talk to him.
I've talked to him, so we are going to connect with him. I know him.
So 5 shillings is the current manufacturing cost, and you're selling them for what?
I'm selling them for 5 shillings.
Okay, and the
I'm
manufacturing?
manufacturing them for 3 shillings and 50 cents.
Okay, and that machinery will get it down to what?
The machinery is for disposal. I have 2 machines.
Okay.
One is for accountability of the donated sanitary pads, because like the way you would go and donate sanitary pads, we are able to account for each donated sanitary pad and attach it to a user. Now the other machine we have is an incinerator, and this incinerator is for disposal, purely disposal. We have done for sanitary pad, and we have a prototype of baby diapers because we got interest from our ministries, Ministry of Health, because they want to use them in the clinics.
Health aspect, because you are doing hygiene, healthcare, especially when it comes to disposal. I mean, how are you accounting for that? Because it is going to be blood, and it's going to be taken to a factory. How are you building that into your costs?
You can respond, judges. No more questions. Thanks.
Yeah, can I answer? Yeah, you're asking whether because it's blood which is being burned, or what is the question?
Yeah, because it is being, it's blood, and you're going to be incinerating it. I'm just wondering how you're building into the healthcare aspect of it being biodegradable and also a biofunction that you're getting rid of, like
Yes.
the cost of those in the factory.
Sorry,
and healthcare
judges.
and all that stuff.
I have to keep it short.
Okay.
Yes, we are, but it's for fairness. You can answer the question.
Maybe we can talk later. I explain that to you. Thank you.
Yes, I had to put on my headmistress hat. Yes. So many thanks to those who've presented the first part of this afternoon. We are now going for a short coffee break, 15 minutes. So it's just before 2. So if you could come back here for 2:15. It's also use it as a rest break, and then after that we'll have Ezekiel, who's the first one to present. So if everyone could be kindly seated, so that we can also ensure that our live stream audience are able to start on time. But thank you so much, and see you shortly. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a lovely coffee break. Welcome back also to our live stream audience. So we are going to have part 2 of our Kenya presentations. And so the first up is Ezekiel. So as ever, all participants have 3 minutes and then 4 minutes for the judges to sort of do the Q&A portion. If Paul, who's going after Ezekiel, could sort of make his way to our crew at the back. If he's not here. Is that Paul? Paul, I see you, yes. So we'll get started. So Ezekiel, we'll start the clock when you're ready.
My name is Ezekiel Mariita. I'm a co-founder of Solar Kijiji, which is a startup company that has developed a solar concentrator energy solution for drying of tea in Africa. As you can see, I have a picture of you taking your coffee, so I'd like to discuss much what is involved in the drying of tea. Each day, 40,000 trees are used in a day for drying of tea. In terms of the size of a forest, that's like 2 football fields. In terms of cost per month, $320,000 is spent by one factory in drying of tea. We as Solar Kijiji, we have developed a solar concentrator energy solution that is to be used in drying of tea. Just to explain how it works, you have a UV sunlight focused at this point and then collected at one particular focal point, and the amount of heat energy produced here is sufficient enough to heat water and produce steam. And then the steam can be used in the drying of tea. Currently, we have developed a laboratory working prototype, and we ask for co-partner development partners and also technical expertise to help us in optimizing the product, in particular, including the software diagnostics and also having the robotic cleaning system, because the efficiency of this product is so much affected with if the surface becomes dirt as a result of dust and such. Our next steps is to build an industrial scale product and test it in a tea factory. We are also exploring other market segments such as milk for pasteurization process, desalination, and also drying of cereals, and also in the biogas process. Our product touches on SDG 7 and 13, and in particular, we want to reduce the amount of firewood that is used in drying of tea, which actually contributes to carbon emission. Lastly, this is our team. We are composed of 3, myself, a co-founder, Bramwell, the CEO, and Evans, who is the product design engineer. Currently, we are composed of only engineers. We're departing on this product, and we hope with your help to take it from ground and commercialize it.
You're aware that the Kenyan government has just mandated that logging burning for tea stopped about a year and a half ago. So this is actually a very big issue. But what they're doing is they're converting all their boilers. So the Kenyan Tea Development Authority is converting all its boilers from wood back to kerosene. And they're investigating, and I've been involved in projects at the Kenyan Tea Development Authority looking at different options for this. When you, with your solar concentrators, what's your cost per kilowatt hour that you think you can reach?
The solar watts that we install at the factories, they depend on the particular need that the factory is concerned with. Like with ours, from based on the calculations, from one factory we aim to get 25 kilowatts per hour for the area of what they need.
Okay, well, so if you take Kenyan Tea Development Authority,
yes.
They turn over about $2 billion a year.
Yes.
They have 60 factories, and they range in kilowatt consumption from 500 kilowatts to 1 megawatt for each factory. So one of the smallest factories, say Toror, would take 0.5 megawatt. So in order for you to supply 0.5 megawatt, what is the capital of the equipment required?
From one of the factories, we'll be able to talk 60,000 USD is to be invested in purchasing of the equipment, adding transportation cost and labor, that shall amount to 65,000 US dollars.
And that would give you 0.5 megawatt?
And that will give you, yes, 0.5 megawatt.
0.5 megawatt for $65,000 only?
Yes.
Because a solar installation is probably 10 times that price, a solar panel installation.
Yes.
Okay.
And you see our product is affected on nature's logistics that we have sunlight.
Okay.
Yes.
What's your conversion efficiency from the sunlight through to the steam? How much of that energy can you convert?
From the laboratory prototype we have, we achieved 86% efficiency.
86.
And myself, being an engineer, that was quite high, and then we felt that we need to carry out more tests to confirm that.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. No, I'm stopping at the very good.
Other people have made such solar converters for different purposes. Have you looked at theirs or learned from them? I mean, they use it for metals processing in the south of France and in Spain, for example.
A good question. In our products, what we want to focus so much is on the solar concentrator energy system to build on knowledge and as well as exploring other market options. We are always open to learn from others because we don't want to diverse, with our products still can be assimilated in various sectors, but we do not want to lose track of that. We want to focus mostly on solar concentrator, but still we can learn from their case studies.
But the other comparator for Kenya must surely be the geothermal power that you have in the Rift Valley.
Geothermal is focused in the Rift Valley, and what they produce is added to the national grid. However, the tea factories are geographically they are situated in one particular area. As you mentioned, we have 66. I want to correct him there. You said 66. They are 60. They are actually 66. So they are concentrated in one particular geographical area. So the additional cost of you having the electricity into cables to the factories will be an additional cost. But with this, be it an alternative or as the main source, we'll be cutting a considerable amount of cost.
Great. Thank you so much, Ezekiel. Next up is Paul. If Prisca, who's going after Paul, could also make her way to the cruise to get mic'd up. So Paul, we'll start when you're ready. We'll give the judges a few moments to collect their notes, and then you'll have 3 minutes followed by 4 minutes of Q&A. You're ready.
Okay, so one of the greatest global challenge is how to be able to feed the 9.1 billion people by the year 2050. The current trend now is that most of the producers basically put more attention on food production, but that small bit is usually forgotten, the safety of that food. One of the major factors which probably reduces the safety of food or takes it down is actually the presence of antibiotic residues. For example, in Kenya, it's estimated that 50% of the milk produced should actually be thrown out, but this one doesn't actually occur. So this milk basically finds itself in people, and one of the main reasons is that farmers back at my home use a lot of antibiotics to treat their animals when they are sick. So we have a solution to this problem, and we see that we have basically produced or developed this product. It's a probiotic feed supplement, which we make from animal waste. If we give this product to animals, then it is able to ensure that they have high immunity. So basically protect them from disease, and there's no need to use antibiotics. it also had other additional advantages because it is able to increase the production of these animals by at least 30%. In this regard, we've been basically isolating this, making this material since 2018, and we've done a research and development on it. Now we have a minimum viable product, which is actually the probiotic, and we've tested it in 50 dairy animals and 50 birds. And what we found out is that apart from being able to improve immunity, it is basically also safe. We've raised some grants from, to support us develop this project. And we are targeting that in the next 1 year, we'll basically be moving to sell it to the 1.8 million farmers who basically keep around 3.5 million dairy animals and probably 9 million chicken. We believe that if we can be able to sell this product to the market within the year, we are able to make averagely $130,000 US dollars within the next 2 years. And we think that we should be able to expand to other East African countries by the year 2022. We are asking for 70,000 in form of grant so that we can be able to purchase our machine and also upscale our production. And I'm supported by a team. So we are basically asking you to support us, increase food production, and make that food safe, and save us, help us save these people who die from the direct effect of antibiotic resistance. Thank you.
So how much education needs to be done to the farmers for them to accept switching from antibiotics to probiotics for their animals?
Okay. The whole thing is farmers are actually aware that they should not be using antibiotics. I think for the last 10 years, the education has been, don't use antibiotics. But basically, they don't have option. They tell you, what do I have? It's either you treat your animals and they die. You don't treat your animals and they die from diseases, or you treat them, but you have to wait for around 7 to 10 days before you can sell your product, because basically you need to throw them out between what we call withdrawal time. So basically they are aware, but what they don't have is actually the option. What can they use? So this product basically gives them an option that if your animal is sick or is sick, then you have something you can use during that period, and you can sell your product immediately. So the cost benefit of using this product basically is what will make them have access to this product or buy it.
How much does your product cost, giving it all the time, compared to the antibiotic from time to time?
Okay. The product we sell, our selling price, basically we make it at around $0.6. That's the product cost of production. And we hope to sell it at $1. So if, for example, you have 100 birds, if you have, for example, around 100 birds, you need to use like 200, you need to use 200 millimeters of this. So in short, our product basically costs much less. Most of the antibiotic basically costs between $3 to $4. And another problem is how much you have to wait before you can sell your product. So that cost, yeah.
So over a year, how much would the farmer typically spend per cow, per animal, on antibiotics compared to your product?
From our small pilot of the 50 farmers, one of the things we've seen is that this product is best used for between 3 to 4 weeks, for example, if you are keeping chicken. And when you compare that to maybe the cost of treatment, then you basically save a lot. You basically save a lot because there are other added advantage that you don't have to maybe get technical people like animal health service providers to come and treat for you. So those are some of the benefits, because you basically don't know how much they cost. But if you compare probably the cost of this, the increased production, so you gain not only in one level of the cost, but there are also other aspects. Yeah.
And then per per dollar, how much will you make per pot? You're selling it for $1.
Yes.
And how much does it cost you to make?
$0.6.
$0.6.
Yeah.
And what's the capital equipment required?
Okay. We are basically asking for a total of $60,000. I believe that's what you are asking for. And in this, we want to put up machine so that we can be able to at least scale up, but we also want to do our market validation. Yes.
Talk me through the processes that you're using to persuade farmers to take your product instead of antibiotic. What tools are you using, or how are you selling it to farmers?
Okay. The idea our business model is that we will be going to these farmers and tell them, basically, we are going to use this product, but for the next 1 year, if you're using this product, we are basically going to give you free veterinary services. We will give you advice on animal health and all that. That's basically how we want to put it to the market until they actually accept it.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Paul. Up next is Prisca, and then followed by Rebecca. So if Rebecca could kindly make her way to our crew, we can mic you up. So Prisca, you have 3 minutes. We'll give the judges a brief moment to collect their notes, and then we'll get started.
This is my son, Nixon, 7 months old. Last year, I nearly lost my life bringing this cute soul to this world. And by the way, his life was also in danger. And do you know that 40,000 babies and 47,000 moms lose their lives each year in Kenya? We, Mom and Baby Health, we are dedicated in solving this problem through our hub and website in providing health information to pregnant moms and pregnant women, to pregnant moms and nursing moms through a low-cost mobile technology. We also link them to the nearest health facilities, health specialists, and also baby daycare centers near them. We tap these key metrics in achieving our target of 500,000 moms by the end of 2021. As a company, we have striking core competencies. That is, I have walked this journey. I have a deep knowledge of our target market. We have a waiting list of moms who are ready to consume our product. Our mobile technology is low cost and easy to use. And also, we are the first to the market in Kenya. Our traction, I founded this company 2 months ago. That is last year in November. And already I receive daily inquiries from moms and on when we are going to launch our product. That means they're ready to use it. I already have 2 doctors already signed up in our website, which is a prototype. I also have 2 hospitals already signed up, and also I'm in dialogues with advertisers on regards of e-commerce. That is going to be on our website. And also come April this year, we are going to launch our website. Today, we are seeking a seed capital of $69,500 to be able to develop our software and also meet our market and also training and office administration needs. Meet Patrick Katobu, my co-founder, and also marketing guru. Also James Reeves, mentor and advisor, and James, who is going to develop our website. I welcome all of you on board. Let's work towards zero maternal and infant mortality rates, because I believe no mom or baby should lose their lives at this time, age, and era of advanced mobile technology. Thank you.
I didn't quite get the business model. Who pays and how do they pay?
Okay. I'll quickly tell you what we do as a business. As you can see at the far end, we have pregnant moms and nursing moms, which is our target market. And that is our website or our app, which they have the same features. But also, even maybe someone who is living in rural areas where internet is limited, we are going to reach them through bulk SMSs, which are also going to be interpreted in local languages. And for this, we have an e-commerce site. Our moms or our target market will be able to pay us through subscriptions. And also in our website, so for health specialists and health facilities to be listed or to be in our directory, they have to pay us a commission. So what I'm basically saying is that we as a company, yes, we provide the information, but also we provide a platform for consultation and also link those moms and all the moms with health specialists, health facilities, daycare centers, emergency services near them. So through commissions and subscriptions. Yeah.
So it's about the information. It's about the information to the mom to know when to contact a doctor with a symptom or a query or.
Yes. First, we are going to provide health information, right? Okay. And when you visit our website, we are not only giving you health information. I also want a mom, because I have walked this journey. Yes, I want to be aware of the complications that are there. At the same time, I want to know the number of health specialists near me. And that's at the same time, also emergency services, okay, that ambulances are in one platform.
And I do know from being in Nairobi that the ambulance is private and must be paid. Do doctors have to be paid as well privately?
Sorry?
I know that ambulances are paid. They have to be paid for the visit. Okay. So it's important to know when to call one. Is that true also of doctors? Are doctors paid by the individual or paid by the state?
By individual, I think so.
But all right, doesn't matter. I'll not occupy more time. Okay.
Okay.
I would just like to offer a comment or a suggestion. Okay. When you're presenting your business and the market traction, it would be very useful to see what other people think about your solution. Okay. I appreciate that you had this experience, but you're just one person, right? Mm-hmm. So it would be very good to have some information of there's 100 women who agree with me and they would like to have this service, and this is the subscription amount that they're willing to pay, mm-hmm, and they will be paying it for the duration of pregnancy or for duration of pregnancy plus first year of baby's life, because I would imagine that once the babies are more grown up, right, mm-hmm, you'll have churn of those users, basically.
We have done a visibility studies, and if you can remember, I've mentioned we have a waiting list of moms already. I receive daily inquiries from them on when the website will be.
So some numbers on how many moms you have there, that would be useful.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
And just following on from that, I'm not sure you grasped what Brigitte was saying, in that you're going to get, once the baby is above a certain age, then the information you're planning to put on the app is no longer relevant to the mum, okay, so she probably will stop paying. So there will be some churn of.
Time's up, judges, for questions.
To take into account.
I'll put into consideration that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Rebecca. So, and following Rebecca will be Wesley. So if Wesley could go to get mic'd up from our crew. So you'll have 3 minutes to do your presentation, and we'll just give the judges a moment to finish their notes, and then we'll start the clock when you start speaking.
So imagine you're a farmer. You have grown your grass for about 6 months, give or take, but your animals are quickly running out of nutritious feeds. You don't have the right equipment to turn your grass into bales. What then do you do? My name is Rebecca Nyambura, and I'm the founder and CEO of Bekla Heibelas. Now, mechanization in Africa, particularly in Kenya, has been quite a huge challenge over the years. Take the process of baling, for example. which involves collection of grass, compressing it, and turning it into bales which can be stored for later use. Small-scale and middle-scale farmers in Kenya are consistently being faced with the challenge of unaffordable and low and very low proficiency machines, which actually lead to production of low quality of bales and some really labor-intensive activities. So what then do we do about this, and where do we come in? So we have devised a self-powered hay baler, which has an incorporated engine and runs on biodiesel. We do hope that our product will be more affordable than the current hay balers in the market, but at the same time, it will be more efficient than the traditional methods of hay baling. Our product is in line with the SDG number 20 hunger, because due to increased mechanization, we have improved feeds, and therefore we have better food produced. We are also in line with SDG number 7, clean energy, because by the use of biodiesel, we reduce the carbon footprint in the country. So currently, we are at the design stage, and we are incubated in Nairobi, but we all start somewhere, right? So in Kenya, we have a livestock farmers of about 800,000, and our target is actually around 100,000 farmers who form the small-scale part. So it's where we are. We hope to begin by doing market validation and interviewing about 200 farmers whose insights and feedback will help inform our design and also help to improve it. So what we're seeking today is actually an introduction to farmers and farming association, whose information will help guide us, and also an introduction to prototyping centers and co-development partners with whom we can move forward into the R&D. So I invite each and every one of you to join me, a very dedicated agricultural engineer, in helping us revolutionize the process of baling in Kenya. Thank you.
There's certainly some reasoning behind why you want to go after small producers, and that didn't really come across. So can you explain us why the small producers?
Oh, well, this is because most large-scale farmers have the ability to access more expensive and more advanced machines. But for the small-scale producers, usually they are not very advanced machines for this, so it's usually manual. Yeah.
And do you anticipate you can build a machine cheaper and put it on the market for less money than the existing companies can?
Yes, we actually can. Working with our mechanical engineers, we've been able to determine that the prototype will cost about 400,000 Kenya shillings. So it will be fairly low, significantly low.
And how does that compare to the labor cost of the way they do it at the moment?
Sorry?
So at the moment, you have people doing this manually. They make manual bales. If you save the labor of doing that, how many years will it be before the farmer has paid back his investment in your baler?
Well, our machine over time reduces the cost of producing this feed for animals. So we are actually looking at the final cost of doing this.
Okay. Now, I think the answer to the question is you haven't done the calculation yet, but
yeah,
I think if you've got a particular target farmer size, then you need to work backwards.
Okay.
Because if you start this off as an engineering exercise and then come up with the cost as the answer, you will end up wasting your time. Oh. You have to do it the other way around, and then you could have a fantastic design, but you need to understand your customer first, who's one of these small farmers, and then work out how much could he afford. So how can he pay back your investment in, say, 2, possibly 3 years? You know, choose a figure, work out what that would mean in terms of capital cost, and only then start doing your design.
Yeah.
If you do it the other way around, you will end up with an expensive white elephant that nobody will be able to afford.
Yeah.
But do it the other way, and then you will make progress a lot faster.
Okay.
I noticed you showed a picture of a big Massey Ferguson, but if you go back to the original Ferguson, okay, it was a small machine for small farmers, okay, with the device on the back that could be pulled. So I'm not quite sure I understand why you've made a single device for baling when the small farmers could also use a small version of it, like the original Ferguson TE90, which is tiny, but could pull a baler.
Well,
So you designed a very clever baler,
oh,
but it doesn't do anything else.
well, currently we are just trying to make it self-sufficient and remove the need for the tractor, because in Kenya you find that it's really expensive to rent the whole machine or to buy it.
Yeah, but I'm thinking you could build a tractor for the price you're talking about. Not that one.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Up next is Wesley. We'll just give the judges a moment. Wesley, you'll have 3 minutes, and followed by Q&A with the judges. And then we'll start the clock when you're ready.
Right. Imagine you visit a doctor's office and you need injection or blood withdrawal from your vein. Then this doctor closes his eyes and sticks you the needle. These are the current trends for patients with collapsed veins. I, Wesley and Micah from VeinView, we are making venipuncture more friendly. Patients with the collapsed veins, such as the pediatric patients, the obese patients, elderly, kidney patients, they make it difficult for the medical practitioners to locate their veins, which leads to multiple venipunctures, increased pain in the patients, and of course, increased costs in the healthcare sector. We, in VeinView, we have developed portable, handheld, non-invasive vein locator device that helps medical practitioners to safely and easily locate veins in those cases of patients. We have filed a national patent with the government in our country, Kenya. Our market, right now today, 39 million Kenyans need venipuncture. But all the same, we have underestimated that the 3 million patients will need our advice, because all of us don't need the pain of having multiple venipunctures. Therefore, still, that's an underestimate of the 3 million. Our business model, our product is locally assembled, and with the assembling plant, it costed $19 per unit, and we expect to sell this product on the market at a selling price of $40. After doing our post-clinical trials, we expect by 2022 to make annual revenues of $50,000. Our team, I, Wesley, as the CEO, Carol, the CEO, Zachary Moyo as the CTO, and Charles Kemosi as the CFO. We are bringing expertise on board to develop our product, and also 55 years of experience to bring our product to the market. Lastly, we are seeking £150,000 to design our product and also begin our clinical trials. I, Wesley and Micah, we are making venipuncture friendly. Thank you so much.
It's a great presentation, very believable, but finding the vein's only the start. If the person's not trained and pushes the needle too far, that's pretty bad too. How do you fix that?
Finding the vein is so critical because medical practitioners are experienced, trained from the colleges and from the colleges and universities, and even big hospitals. Therefore, we expect our device shall be operated with skilled personnel, and even we shall train people, community workers, and anybody willing to use it, train on how to use this device, and also training them how to use the needles and such like things.
Well, I guess I'm stealing a question from a colleague about how many nurses have you tested and they love it and their patients.
Right, we have done a test on around 15 customers, and it was so easy because they never believed it. Because imagine just having a device that is mapping out the veins so clearly and just can see these are the veins, other than tying my hand so hard, forcing me to fold my fist for you to see my veins. Therefore, which one do you go for? Therefore, let me just locate the device so easily. It works.
Yeah, continuing on with that, because there's a different level of training for people that are doctors, nurses, phlebotomists, which are trained people within removing blood and needles. Definitely, trust me, I have a scar. And so I'm just wondering about the level of training. Can you go back to the slide where you talk about the next one? Because I'm just wondering how this technology will actually, you're saying it will be, how exactly will this work?
Right, how it works, I never included in the slides, how it works, to be more brief, is that the device emits light that being absorbed by the deoxyhemoglobin in the blood, which maps out the veins so clearly. That's what our device works in simple terms.
So one comment, I see potentially a problem with having patent only in Kenya, because ideally you would want to sell this around the world, right? It's not just in Kenya that doctors can't find veins, right? Another thing is, how do you help the doctor sell this internally in the hospital? Because if I'm a hospital manager, I would say to the doctor, well, I pay you to do this, you should be coming in trained and skilled.
Right.
And it's not really my problem if some people have veins that are more hard to find. So how do you overcome that problem or that kind of argument?
We expect to sell it to the government, because medical industry is highly regulated by the government. Therefore, we bring in the doctors to help us, convince the government, who will be our key customers in this, and also even the private clinics, hospitals, and even the local chemists, and anybody can use our product.
Okay, so what is the cost that this is? What's the cost after the fact of people that have pain, that they have to come back to a hospital? Because, I mean, what's that extra cost running governments, hospitals, that people are having to get, their blood drawn more than once, or coming back for pain or scarring or something?
All right, imagine of this. A doctor is trying to take blood from a patient, right? And there's another patient, multiple patients in the waiting bay, supposed to come in also. Therefore, is attempting the first time, it can't work. Also gives you some few seconds or some few minutes to gain more energy. Again, tries. Remember, there are more patients in the queue waiting. Therefore, even there's delayed treatment in patients, and also wastage of needles and other materials in the hospital. Therefore, is a cost that are being wasted.
Yeah, I'm wondering, have you costed that out? Because that should be probably your main sale point to whoever you're selling to the government, to hospitals, to say, this is how much it costs you extra.
The costing there, we believe that there's wastage of, we have not did the math, I don't know other than the clear numbers, but I can work on that probably. Let me be honest on that.
Great, time's up, judges.
Last observation, I think your sales price is too low. Because, if you sold that for 100 in the UK, most GP surgeries would buy one.
I'm targeting probably to bring it over, because probably my market can only be in Kenya. Even at times in Kenya, there are good athletes, there are good physique bodies. Therefore, my market can be even in London. Yeah, that's a good point taken.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much. Up next is George to round off the pictures from Kenya and also for today. So you'll have 3 minutes and then followed by some Q&A.
You can negotiate on the time since I'm the last one.
Maybe. All the best.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is George Chege, co-founder of Arenifu Technologies, and our product is the Smart Brooder. Imagine you're a chick born without feathers. I tell you, you'll definitely be freezing to death in this room right now. Farmers face around 44% mortalities due to the use of old and archaic charcoal-based heating methods, which are unreliable, requiring constant monitoring. You'll find them awake at around 3 a.m. Mess up a bit, and you lose 99% from carbon monoxide poisoning. Remember, 2/3 of the world's population is protein deficient, and you cannot afford this loss. With the help of my co-founders, John, Business Development Lead, William, Customer Relations Lead, myself, Technical and Design Lead, and Beatrice, the glue that holds us all together, we are proud to present to you the Smart Brooder, a patented digital mother hen that uses IoT-based sensors to monitor and automatically control cleaner, more efficient heat sources, electricity, smallholder farmers, LPG, medium-holder farmers, based on the ages of the chicks. Since as they're aging, they're feathering, and the requirements keep on changing. We provide real-time text messages, providing farmers with peace of mind. There are over 1.6 million chicken farmers in Kenya. Of these, we are targeting 40,000 who are commercial farmers, doing batches of around 100 or more. We have done a paid pilot with 30 customers, generating 20K in revenue over the last 16 months at 33% gross profit margins. We did this by direct sales, but are working on a pay-as-you-go and subscription model to increase our customer base. We are a social impact company. We empower the lives of chicken farmers. And in sub-Saharan Africa, most are women. And for this, we were featured in Kenya's 2019 International Women's Day for empowering women by putting more money into their pockets. We also reduced the carbon footprint of chicken farming. We've eliminated 100 tons of charcoal. We believe we can take better care of our natural world. And we ask you to join us by providing us links to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that is running the Alpha Project in 4 African countries on animal production. We are also looking for access to UK-based organic poultry farmers and animal machinery distributors around here to understand the landscape. We're also looking to roll out a platform that will aggregate data from this and other farm records, providing them with records and insights as to how to improve their farms. So finally, ladies and gentlemen, why did the chicken cross the road? Anyone? We believed she crossed it to come to our store to get herself one of these. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. One comment on the presentation. You said on the previous slide, I think, that you have 30 farmers, no, one back, 30 customers to date. It would be really good to see some numbers of what the mortality rates were with using your device and not using it. And do they use it then across the whole farm, or do they use it just for a batch of chicken?
Maybe I could answer you. So we achieve around 98% livability rate by using our system. And just to give you a small masterclass on raising chicken, the first few days determine what happens later on. Mess up within the first few days, no matter how much feed you pump into them, they'll never grow. They'll never produce eggs for you at the right time. So we're able to ensure that the process goes on efficiently throughout. And how our system runs is that we work with commercial farmers who bring batches, let's say, every 2 months or 6 weeks, depending on the breed. So we're not working with the village running around chicken, but the app is going to be able to capture all those other farmers. So that's why we're working with food. We're very focused on commercial farmers.
I was just going to ask if you were planning on having people use probiotics versus antibiotics.
So probiotics, I've come across them. I believe in them. And they would be our customers with the application. And what we do is that we discourage the use of antibiotics. So as I was telling you, if you mess up within the first 3 days, that's when they have to give them antibiotics so they stop dying. So we are able to stop that before it happens. And what my fellow colleague presented would actually just boost. And I think we're already partnering.
Okay, I was going to suggest that.
I guess my question is similar to what's been asked. I mean, if I bought, I don't know quite what the price is, but if I bought one of these, just how many more chickens would I get in a year? And would I have enough food to feed them?
So the savings are around $150 to $200 for the smallholder farmer. And that's mainly due to the reduction in the mortalities, but also in the cost of feed. So we can reduce the cost of feed by around 1 or 2 bags every batch. But when you come to the medium-scale farmers, with the logging ban your colleague mentioned, charcoal prices have really gone up. So we're able to cut the cost of heating by around 40% for the medium-holder farmers using.
Yeah, but I think that's what I'm saying. If I'm a smallholder like that, I'd want to see the whole lifetime cost.
So it's $200 every year in savings.
Oh, okay.
That's the
what I get for that in terms of chickens sold or eggs sold or whatever?
Pardon?
What would I win in that? For me, having more chickens or more eggs or whatever it is that I'm getting.
So they're doing this for a business. So it would be taking your children to school. It would be doing buying more groceries for your family. So these guys are depending on chicken, either as the main business or some are doing it as a side hustle, as is common in Kenya.
Okay.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Very well done to everyone who presented today. I'm sure you're all very relieved to have that part over and done with. But I was particularly struck by the breadth of innovations covering agriculture, finance, health. And so I hope in the next couple of moments that you have for the rest of the day, you'll have a chance to network and exchange ideas and just really learn from one another. I just want to give the judges a moment to probably, if they have any direct feedback that they'd want to give to the whole cohort of people that from both South Africa and Kenya who did present today. So if you had anything that you sort of wanted to say, we have a little bit of time, so I will leave it to you, and please do speak into the mic. You can, or you can face me, but yes, the live stream audience.
What was common this afternoon and this morning was when they got to the end of the presentation, they said, all the teams said, this is what we want. What they didn't do, nobody did this, is to say what the investor would get back. Some alluded to it, but you know, if you're doing a pitch like this, you want to tell the investor that a couple of things. One is there's a compelling reason to do it, which might be a social reason and ideally a financial reason at the same time. You're also telling them that his money is safe in your hands. So you would like to outline all the risks that could potentially happen and what you've thought about as to how you're going to mitigate those. And then for every $100 that the investor puts in, you're going to tell him, well, in a certain amount of time, you're going to get $500, $600, $1,000 back. That last bit wasn't really in evidence in any of the pitches, and if it was, it wasn't in a particularly credible way. In general, also, there was a lack of numbers to explain the point. Some people had done very, very good little marketing matrices which illustrated their market positioning very well. And they're to be commended. What they didn't do was they didn't say, okay, how many customers do I need to get to break even, to get the investor a sense of how hard it was going to be and whether their money was going to disappear and then the team was going to need to raise more money.
Excellent. So essentially, instead of waiting for yourselves or the judges or the prospective individual that they're pitching to infer the reason why, you want them to be specific and then see the journey of how they've worked out and numerically how they're going to get to that.
Because it gives the investor or the person that's being pitched to, whether it's a government or whatever, gives them confidence on two levels. One, that they understand the investor's needs. sometimes what it comes across is, give me your money, give your money, I'm a really good cause. But then it doesn't differentiate you from the next pitch, because they're saying the same thing. Give me your money, I'm a really good bet. So you need to go that extra step.
What would you say to those innovators who have yet to maybe demonstrate or do feasibility studies or anything that can show what you're sort of...
What I would do there is to use some, not fictitious numbers, but use some example numbers. So for example, if you're targeting the lady who's designing the baling machine, obviously she hasn't done the design yet and so on, but if she was to say, I think my farmer can afford this and he will have great savings at that price, and I believe I can design something for that price, that is much more compelling than to say, I will design anything, because it's much harder to design a Mini than it is to design a Rolls-Royce. Rolls-Royce is easy to design because cost is not an object. But if you've actually worked out the marketing, what your customer can afford, what gives your customer a benefit, and then work backwards. Most engineers don't do that. They work out how to do it, then they work out how much it's going to cost, then they say, why doesn't anybody buy this? And that's the reason. You need to do it the other way around.
So working backwards from...
You need to always
cost.
work backwards, from the customer backwards, not engineering forward.
Excellent.
So on a more positive note, this was a very valuable comment, and I think a very valuable instruction as well to everyone who was pitching. But I think all the pitches were really, really good. You were all presenting very clearly, very succinctly. You were to the point. It was easy to understand you. I know a lot of you, English is not your first language, as it's not mine either, and it's sometimes quite difficult to express yourself, but you all did very, very good job in presenting. So give yourselves a round of applause.
I would like to say I do also agree with both of my fellow judges, the good and the bad. I would like to say, although there is this focus, it is on Kenya, I think a lot of the propositions have the potential to be global, and I didn't think enough of you were really realizing that or projecting that in your thinking about your products. And I would like to see you think more about that beyond than just your specific country and region, because there's far-reaching implications for a lot of the innovations that are here. So think beyond that. Think big, because the potential in this room is actually really massive. So that's my point. Good job, people.
Yeah, well, I guess, I agree with my three colleagues, as you might expect. And I do agree very much with what Henning said, but I'd put it the other way around again. The focus of an innovator needs, at this very early stage, once you've proved that something can be done, the next thing, before you do anything else, is to figure it out how the business model is going to work. Why would somebody buy it? Because they will not necessarily buy it for the reason you invented it. In fact, I would almost say, universally, there is no product in general use that was invented for that purpose. And you must look back at some of the stories. I've got loads of stories I could tell you, but nearly everything, was not. For example, who invented the telephone? Sorry? Alexander Graham Bell. No, he got the patent, right? He worked alongside, not even with, but the biggest company in data at the time was Western Telegraph. And they had a provider called Western Electric, whose boss was Elisha Gray. And Elisha Gray had invented a way of sending voice and other high-intensity signals down the telephone lines, down the telegraph lines, okay, and filed a patent exactly the same as Bell's with a better detector, okay? But Western Telegraph thought there was no purpose to it and would not back it, would not buy it. So he didn't even bother taking the patent to the patent office. He posted it. Bell, believing in his device, carried it to the patent office and handed it in personally. And that alone told the patent officer in Washington that there's only one man going to take this forward, and he believed in it. So he took the better detector off the Elisha Gray patent and put it onto the Bell patent and awarded Bell because he arrived an hour before the post was delivered. Okay. Ultimately, the Bell company bought Western Electric and corrected everything 25 years later. But figuring out why someone would use your product is the crucial thing. And actually the inventor in this case was the patent officer who reckoned that there would be need of doing that. But it wasn't, his thinking was not that everybody would talk to everybody else, but he knew that presidents needed to talk to other presidents and people needed to talk, and the only way to do that with a proper high-speed way would be something like a telephone. So you have to think very hard at and you can go through that story, every single invention goes through that story. Why Marconi is associated with wireless, why the individual technologies of the mobile, and so on and so forth. So I would say, whatever time you've given to the invention, put into the business model, and then you'll be able to answer Henning's question. So, but I must say, it's been very entertaining. It's a very fast-flowing day. I've enjoyed it all and great fun, so I hope you did too. And I'll say it again when we do the prizes, but we're only fallible people. Our decisions may be totally wrong. Don't let us make you depressed or anything. You all gave great presentations and you all look like you're doing a great job. And do use each other. The peer-to-peer learning that you can do is just as important as the learning you've had from your mentors and from your teachers. So thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you, judges. I think that's really rich feedback, and hope you can take some of what they've said and or all of it and build up from that later on. So I also want to say a particular thank you to those of you who are joining us via live stream. You have been patiently and diligently sort of sitting through the presentations, and so I hope you've been able to not only enjoy them, but to also learn about the innovations that are out there from these particular areas of the globe. So I want to encourage you, both you online and here in the room, to carry on the conversation and use the Twitter hashtag #InnovationLeaders. That's hashtag #InnovationLeaders, all lowercase, all one word. And that way you can also follow the conversations and see what people around the world are saying who weren't in the room. So, what's next? We have a networking session on the ground floor. For those in the room, that starts now. And then that will be followed by in-country photos. So get your best side ready for those photos. And then, as the judges mentioned, we'll be concluding the day with an awards ceremony where, as I mentioned at the start of the day, the judges will be picking the top 3 pitches from South Africa and Kenya. So without further ado, I want to thank you so much. Thank you again to the participants. Well done, and have a lovely rest of the day.